I'm about to rank the fuck out these Death Grip albums. I've spent a literal month, yes, 1 month, listening to and absorbing pure, unadulterated Death Grip's material. Well, everything in their main line of work. Out of everything I listen to, and I know I say this a lot, the entire discography of Death Grips is incredibly hard for me to absorb and digest. Like, really fucking hard. But regardless, I'm gonna do my absolute best in making sure I swallow all the music made available, finishing the tunes from hell to its very last drop. From what I've seen, there are about 8 total albums from Death Grips, the first being a mixtape called Exmilitary, and the rest spanning out into full-fledged albums, with one being completely filled with only instrumentals. Again, I'm basing this off of Spotify and a bit of Wiki, so let me know if I missed anything down in the comments below. Now be warned, seeing that you're still watching this video, you are legitimately signing a contract and bearing witness to the most outlandish takes, the most garbage opinions, and the most repulsive decisions ever known to mankind. Again, you have been warned. One last thing. Unlike my other ranking videos, there will be no score given to these albums once I finish explaining why they're in the place they're in. The music here ascends all form of logical reasoning. It just doesn't feel right to give any of these albums on here a score out of 10. So I'm just gonna rank it. That's it, I promise. Mwah. Now, pick up your lube, grab your balls, and brace them juicy titties. We're diving dick first into this bad boy. Coming straight into last place, we have The Powers That Be, Disc 1. Yes, I separated both volumes, being that the sounds were almost completely night and day to me. Fucking oppressive if I'm being honest. I'll be real with you, I did not enjoy Disc 1. The music made by Death Grips is for a specific niche audience, so, knowing myself, I really have to tap into tune with my brain in order to try and bring out the most of what I'm listening to. But this shit? Disc 1 was just noise. My brain was being fucked to death by these insane loops, chopped up sound effects, blaring screams, these grating yells. Whose personal hell was this made for? Even the direction of where this album was going for had me completely confused. From MC Ride getting me bricked up on the track Fuck Me Out, to me foaming out the mouth and spazzing to the song Voila. I was so fucking lost. Don't get me wrong though, a lot of the songs here are fucking bops, but only bops in the time I spent listening to them. Will I go back and replay Disc 1 whenever I can? Fuck no. I appreciate the attempt, but at the end of the day, the first disc was just too much for my rectum to handle. Year of the Snitch almost got last place for me, not gonna lie, that shit was kinda ass. While I appreciate how short it is in length because I just don't have the attention span for long albums, this album felt a bit bland and not as ambitious as the works to come before it. If anything, I'm sure this was highly intentional. Zach is pretty much a musical genius when it comes to constructing anything, and Andy provides a great service in supporting him. But the lows did a fantastic job at outshining the highs with this one. So first things first, this album sounded a bit more compressed and honestly way more tame than what I was used to, which is something I usually appreciate. I usually mix my vodka with a little bit of nut in it anyways. But if anything, this resulted in Snitch sounding a lot more like a rock album than whatever the fuck type of genre Death Grips is. Where this album truly shined to me was when it honed its instrumentals and let them play out, setting the tone and atmosphere for what was to come. Examples of this being the beginning synths on Death Grips Is Online, the middle towards ending parts of Black Paint, and the almost angelic yet muffled sections of Ha Ha Ha. Even Streaky managed to have me moving with energy. But otherwise than those tracks, that was about it. Everything else just didn't do it for me, and that's okay. Dilemma is a top 10 Death Grips song of all time though. That like shit bangs. Okay, cool, The Powers That Be Disc 2 can slip right in here. There's only one word to describe the rest of this album. Intense. Holy fucking shit. As soon as I Break Mirrors came on, I knew I was in for a doozy. Originally, I didn't even know that this album was broken into 2 volumes. I heard the music and thought someone had tampered with my Spotify shuffle. High energy, wicked riffs, these urgent, heart-dropping beats, MC Ride just spitting these crazy rhymes, words sounding like someone with a Parkinson's disorder wrote them. There was way too much energy that they forgot to add in, well, everything else. I would have appreciated more tangible songs, something with a bit of substance to it. Like, don't get me wrong, high energy is great, but too much of it, and that's the case. but when you have songs like Turned Off, Beyond the Live, and On GP, I guess it's just hard to really give a fuck. Great way to end off the project regardless. So coming back off of editing, I'd actually take away that there's no substance in this album, and instead I would replace it with, I would really much appreciate something a bit easier for me to digest because there is so much going on here. Oh yeah, and On GP, one of the greatest Death Grip songs of all time. It definitely deserves a spot in the top 10. So yeah, back to the video. Fashion Week takes the 6th spot. Being that this is an instrumental only album, the songs were either a hit or miss for me. I actually enjoyed a lot of this project. Since I'm only hearing the instrumentals, I am automatically more attentive to the various transitions and sounds being used there, making me appreciate the tracks more than I usually would. In fact, Fashion Week was the most fun I had listening to any Death Grip album. We can go from these bombastic and heavy drums used on Runway E, to that MF Doom head-ass sample used on Runway N, to this distorted yet cheerful tune of Runway N 2. The whole album was just full of surprises. Plus, I really feel like the focus on only instrumentals allowed the production to flesh itself out, sitting snugly between the melodic parts and the beat-driven segments. Add that on top of more banging samples and that cute Asian girl on the cover, and you have yourself an easy classic. So yeah, I fucking love this album. Great piece of work, and I'd love more like it. The Money Store. The album I hear every Death Grips fan talk about. The project that changed lives, shifted the culture, forever solidifying their legacy. I just didn't connect with it as much as I'm sure the entire fandom has. Like, it's good. I've seen footage. Get Got and Hustle Bones are some of the greatest songs made by that group. But again, I couldn't get myself to connect with the songs as much as I thought I would. Especially after listening to everything else in their discography, The Money Storm sounds pretty tame. It doesn't come off as insane or otherworldly when I go back and listen to it after listening to everything else. It's really basic and simple. There's rarely any sudden shifts or unimaginable noises that make me shit myself. I feel like it would be the perfect album to introduce new fans to. The only thing I can really say that stood out on here, when compared to everything else they've put out, was MC Ride's penmanship. His verses on Get Got, especially the third one, were impressive as hell. In fact, on almost every track, he speaks literal poetry. So yeah, The Money Store is a great listen, but I definitely wouldn't say it's their best work to date. Government Plates. I just want to point out how smooth and well put together this entire album flowed. Government Plates is consistent, pleasing to the ear and full of new styles, pleasant surprises, and great tracks. I'd even almost argue that there's no bad track on here. The worst song off of Plates is at least an easy 6. If anything, a lot of this album unironically reminded me of Yeezus. I know, fucking Yeezus. Like, what doesn't this album have? Throughout its infectious and hypnotizing symphonies, we have tracks like Feel Like a Wheel and Bonnie. You might think he loves you for your money, but I know what he really loves you for. It's your brand new leopard skin pillbox hat. Yes, that's the song's real name. And fucking Birds, bro. Easily another top 10 Death Grip song. It's just so good. I really like this album, and I hope you did too. You should definitely go listen to it. And now for the top 3, the big 3, my rendition of what the best Death Grips album are. Starting off with the bronze medal, look no further than to witness Exmilitary and its greatness. My original introduction to the group's full-blown project, this still holds up in preserving what I like about Death Grips in total. Deep phrases and spiritual-like chants over this dark, dystopian-like, sort of twisted outlook on music. Even the way the samples are flipped on here are incredibly clever and sort of terrifying. MC Ride is a very morbid and descriptive writer, even adding in sound effects to his lyrics in order to bring them to life. Every piece of the production here seems to aid MC Ride in telling a story, repeatedly changing during certain parts, filling in different parts, or even taking in and taking out together different sections of the song. I can say this confidently for every song on here, as nothing on this album falls prey in getting repetitive or stale. Clink is my favorite Death Grip song of all time. What else is not to love about Exmilitary? Even when starting out, their music still holds up to date. With the silver medal around the neck, we have in second place No Love Deep Web. 4 of the top 5 Death Grip songs of all time, in my opinion, are on here. Lock Your Doors, Artificial Death in the West, No Love, and Black Dice in those respective orders. In fact, while listening to The Deep Web, I remember wanting to hear more and more of what the album had to offer, highly anticipating the type of song I'd hear. To me, the album No Love is a simplified version of The Money Store, which would probably explain why I had so much fun listening to it in its entirety. And that throbbing pink dick on the cover. Either way, Zach is one lucky man. Still holding up its digital sound while expanding into a more space-like void of a masterpiece, No Love would have been my favorite album from the group if it weren't for this next big hunk of meat.
I am God. Yes, hello. I will practice you.
Standing tall, gold on his body, oiled up and ready to slide, Bottomless Pit is, in my humble opinion, the greatest Death Grips album they have to offer. This is how you do the formula right. The perfect amount of noise, the perfect use of lyricism, righteous melodies, transcendent riffs, just back-to-back goodness being shoved right into my ears. I can't stress enough with how much I appreciate this album. Everything about this project, from just listening to it to even taking the time and learning more about the surreal experience, is perfection. How I don't hear more about this album is mind-blowing to me. There is no bad track on here. The build-ups are perfect. Hell, just listen to Hothead. Let that killer riff consume your entire conscience. I'm getting frustrated here knowing that my words alone can't convey just how much I appreciated this body of work. On point, filled with purpose, and tuned into every element set and making a perfect record, Bottomless Pit, in my opinion, reigns supreme over all other Death Grip projects. Shit, I'm about to put that joint back on right now before I do this video's conclusion. So yeah, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. It feels good finally getting to you guys with this Death Grip ranking. I've been promising this shit since November. So sorry I was so late. Anyways, did you agree with my list? Did you want to fucking rip my eyes out for my shit opinions? Let me know in the comments. You know I'm about to heart everything. I'm actually working on an Amazing World of Gumball ranking video as we speak. I've watched through the first seasons. I'm on season 5 right now. So until another Death Grips album comes out, which I heard is unlikely, you probably won't hear from me in a while. Unless I also drop a KSI video. I don't know, whatever I feel like doing. I'm just glad to finally get this out. It feels like a huge weight's been lifted off my shoulders. But yeah, still, feel free to let me know what I should review next, or even rank. You know, it's fun doing these things, and I'm glad you guys seem to enjoy it too. It's been your king, Pretty Kitty. I will see y'all in the next one.
Bye!
You're looking at a king, hands beaming with the bling, flinging off my center ring. Do you dig? Pick it if you hate it, then go stick it, ditch it. Making all I have by the minute, singing masterpiece, please. Write a fatter piece, breeze through the chapter, each page of audition for my stage. Layer each layer, coated with a paper, a savior, holding up his color code, a major, a brick to a roll when I call